Good morning, everybody. Everybody say, the universe responds to my attitude. Yes. You want to know what your attitude is? Look at your world. That'll run some off. All right. Now, our challenge is to do what? To wake up to know that there is a possibility of stimulating greater good in our life, and it starts where? Point to it. Okay. You see, our challenge is to wake up and know every day of our life that maybe Dale Carnegie was right. And here's some words of Dale Carnegie. How many know Dale Carnegie was a contemporary of Ernest Holmes, Fenwick, all the Fillmores of Unity, all of the wonderful people? Here was Dale Carnegie and Emmett Fox. And by the way, we're doing the month of March, Wednesday night, is going to be on Emmett Fox, and don't miss it. Anyhow, Carnegie said this: remember, happiness doesn't depend upon who you are or what you have. It depends solely on what you think. Now, if we are, as Emerson said, what we think about all day long, and as Ernest Holmes said, if we are what we think about all day long, maybe we ought to think about what we think about. And the question I've been asking for 36 years in this platform, in this pulpit, is this question: is what you think, or is it what somebody told you to think? Is your definition of you your definition or somebody else's definition? Why not let go and study the great, the good, the wise of the age and listen to their definition of you? Because their definition of you was the realization of the definition of what? Of them. And what they all said was, what I am, you are. When Jesus said, he was asked, are you the anointed one? He said, don't even call me good. I'm not doing this. It's the Father within me, and the Father within me is where? Within you. That was his word for the power within you. The Father within me is within you also. What? Think about it. If it were not so, I would have told you. If it was not so, you see, the challenge we have is to know, and know we know, that it's okay to hear it the wrong way the first time and then do what? Correct it. How many have heard it the wrong way the first time? Okay. How many heard it the wrong way the first time and you believed it? How many heard it the wrong way the first time, you believed it, and all of a sudden your belief became a fact? Now, the fact may not have been the truth, but it was your fact. How many know people who have facts in their life that are stagnating them, but their belief in it keeps the stagnation going? There was a man who was telling his neighbor in Miami, he said, I just bought a new hearing aid and it cost me $6,000. It is state-of-the-art. It is perfect. His friend said, really? What kind is it? He said, 1230. Don't mishear it. Dr. Ernest Holmes, in The Law of Mind in Action and Creative Mind in Action, in the about 1920, 1918, 1919, 1920, when he was writing Creative Mind, here's what he said back then. Listen to the clarity of Ernest Holmes then. He said, the secret of spiritual power. Oh, in 1920, they knew the secret. Here it is. By spiritual power, I mean the dynamic something which is intelligent, conscious of what it is doing, and able to do it without any external aid. We think of physical energy in terms of horsepower or the ability to lift a weight at a certain number of feet from the earth. Let us think of spiritual power, not in contracting physical power, but as being more subtle. There must be spiritual power which does not contradict the physical, but is the parent of it. Being the greater, it must include the lesser. Now, physicists know that every action has an equal and opposite reaction in the physical. We know as metaphysicians every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Where? In the metaphysical. In consciousness. You see, we don't treat for things, we treat to become the consciousness of the thing. And the mental equivalent of consciousness produces an effect in our life as health, as happiness, as joy, as this wonderful song we just sang pointed out. This is what we are already. We don't have to earn it or get it or beg for it or beseech it. All we have to do is open up and know it's within us and do what? Let it out. See? Let it unfold into the world. through the age. Dr. Holmes says, there are authentic records of persons who have exercised spiritual power, no matter what their religion or theology may have been. Okay. Every religion has people who have been given a verdict, they got higher than the verdict, accepted the higher definition, and the higher definition became their way instead of the old verdict. Well, let's just look at here. How many here have transcended a verdict in your life at least once? Okay. How many have allowed yourself to contemplate a divine urge of something greater and came to the conclusion it's good enough to be true and did what? See, you operated from that belief system, from that knowing, and all of a sudden something new and beautiful happened. Everybody get your hand out this morning? You should, because it's brilliant. I know, I wrote it. Okay. Anyhow, as I say here, and I'm reading this for YouTube, how many watching us on YouTube? Any of you? Good, good. How many know how many been to the website? The new website? You see the new website? It's great. Thank you, John. He's sitting right here. Raise your hand. Everybody give him a hand. Yeah, right. Webmaster and Rick. Anyhow, I say in the handout I gave you, the desire for outer wealth and personal achievement is the result of and is in keeping with the inner divine urge to express. Everybody say inner divine urge to express. See, we all have a divine urge to express. It is the power within you that wants to do more, be more, experience more. Why? Because God is discovering something about itself it could never discover anywhere else except you, because you have never happened before. And as you evolve in your understanding, God as you begins to do what? Understand more about itself by means of you. This is why we need to stimulate greater good by being the greater good before the world ever sees it inwardly. This is the whole principle of religious science, the whole principle of all, if you look at the golden thread that binds all religions together, there it is. How many know that every religion on the planet has a golden rule? Do unto others how? Say it with me, as you want it what? Done unto you. Now let's take it a step higher. Everybody say, I do unto myself as I would have others do unto me. Are you? Are you? How many know people say, well, as soon as it gets better, I'll feel better? You know what? If it got better, they'd run it off. If it got better, they'd think it belonged to somebody else. If it got better and showed up in their life, probably the first thing they would say is, it's too good to be true. How many have done that? Something shows up, too good to be true, and it leaves, and then you get upset. What happened? You released it in consciousness, too good to be true. Everybody say, good enough to be true. See, there's your stimulus package. To do what? To create greater good in your life as your life. I continue. The things we have evaluated in the right way and treated astutely serve us well. But unless we evolve in understanding as they expand, we are in danger of becoming owned by the insatiable drive instead of flowing lovingly into stress-free, gratifying accomplishment. See, don't stress your way into good. Don't condemn your way into good. How many tried to do that? How many tried to condemn your way into greater good? Okay. I got a phone call the other day. Somebody, one of our members left here about 3 or 4 years ago, just condemning the Bay Area. Can't wait to get out of it. They called me about 3 weeks ago. Guess what? They're having exactly the same experience back east where they moved. Yes. They said, it's really weird. We got the same problems here we had there. I said, well, the problem moved there. The thinking moved there. The expectancy moved there. The not paying attention to the divine urge moved there. Because why? The divine urge in you, it says what? All things are possible. Go ahead and create in consciousness something greater and more beautiful than you did yesterday. This is why Dr. Holmes said, spiritual mind treatment said, your treatment yesterday is not good enough for today. Today is new and it needs a new treatment. Don't settle for what you have Allowed yourself to understand. I love, if you weren't here for first service, Reverend Lacey was just absolutely wonderful. And he moved forward in a very, very interesting way. Again, focused on the celebration of self doing what? Giving birth to itself as experience. Everybody say self-induced awareness. See, that's what you need to do. Don't depend on anything outside of you. Our challenge is to depend upon ourselves. I learned a long time ago, it upset me kind of when I first got it, because I wanted a guru. I had a guru. Until Dr. Carter said, I was telling Dr. Carter about my guru, and the guru I had was leading me to the guru. And Dr. Carter said, if you find a guru that's leading you to somewhere other than you, you got the wrong guru. Okay, everybody say, the only true guru leads me to me, not to the guru, not to the technique, not to the ritual, not to the mantra, not to the meditation, not to anything. Use that to wake up. And if you do it right, you know, religious scientists, real practicing religious scientists, when they meditate, they don't meditate to get to something, they meditate to let it out. They meditate to let it out. I've known people 30, 40 years that are trying to use all these techniques to get to God. Okay. They're trying to get to God. I'm trying to... Okay. I pointed out, somebody gave me a chart. It had all this stuff out here. It had God in the middle. That's duality. God is here and everything else is in the middle. What did Gibran say? Khalil Gibran said, God is not in my heart. What? Say it with me. I am in the heart of God. I am in the heart of the power that created everything out of itself and gave me all of it to ready to back up my next idea. Gave me all of it to back up my next dream. He gave me all of it. And when I know this, I know that all my dreams are waiting for me to come true. I am the stimulus package. My thinking is the stimulus package. My ideas are the stimulus package. Not something outside of me trying to motivate me. Self-motivation is duality. Self-motivation is saying, I'm over here and I don't like it, and I'm going to try to motivate myself over there. I've got a line, this is bad, this is good, and I keep going back and forth across the line. Why don't I dissolve the line and say, right where I am, God is. And if I want something over there and absolutely beautiful, I know if it was absolutely part of 100% of my life right now, how would I feel? And go ahead and do what? Feel that way before it ever shows up. Then I'm giving it a way to show up. Then I'm giving it a way to be the best fit self. We each possess greater mind potential than we could ever possibly imagine. I don't care how great it is, you're better than that. I don't care how beautiful your self-definition is, you are better than that. I don't care how loving you are, you're better than that. Always. The more I know, there's more to know. How many times have we asked ourselves, for example, what am I here for? Okay. Well, Dr. Holmes pointed out once that a lot of people think they're here for the hereafter. He said the hereafter is really not what we're here after. Because if there is eternity, this is our moment in it, and our moment in it is waiting for us to give our best to it. This is heaven. This is our moment in immortality we are responsible for, and our challenge to wake up and say, okay, this is the day the Lord has made. I choose to be glad and give my, what, best to it. I rejoice in it. Okay. What if you could define yourself this morning, leaving, I am the rejoicing consciousness within God. I am the celebrating consciousness of God. I am the affirmative, abundant consciousness of God. I am the health consciousness of God.